Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast. My name is Coach Scott. I'll be your host today. It is Friday, July 3rd. I'd like to preliminarily wish you all a happy 4th of July weekend. I know it's a little bit different this year, but, we're going to be going down to my sister's house. I haven't seen her in a long time, so she got a new baby. Can't touch the baby, of course. Can't touch the baby, but, it's good to kind of reconnect with family, and we haven't seen in a while, and hope you guys are taking the chance, if you feel comfortable taking the chance, to do the same. A lot going on this week. I got to tell you, I've had a really good training week, like solid. And I mean, really solid. In the past few weeks, what I've been doing is I have an A workout. That's the thing I have to do. I got to get that done before the end of the day, right? And typically, if you just look at A workouts throughout the week, there's probably about 6 of them. And it's probably about 4 bikes and 3 runs. This week, and typically I'll get maybe, and then I'll have a B workout for the day. So the weekends I do my long runs, my long bike, whatever, brick workout, whatever. But during the week, separate bikes and runs and whatever it is. So on 4 days, maybe I'll probably have I wake up in the morning and I have a B workout planned. And a lot of times I don't get that done. I try. It's just, hey, I got a baby. There's a thing here, there's a thing here that demands my attention. So sometimes it's hard. It's just hard to fit that in, squeeze that in. But I've been doing my best, and this week I just been crushing it, and things feel good. My weight is starting to trend down. I'm actually trying. I'm trying to eat healthier. I'm snacking a lot less. I think my key this time has been just trying to keep the bad food out of the house. We had those little bites cupcakes because Sam's going to camp this week and she needed a snack. So we had those little bites and they were up there. And, I just pretended like they were kryptonite. I think I might have had 1 bag and I shared that. So, and there's only like 4 little cupcakes. It's like the worst little thing. But, making a concerted effort to make more wise choices. And I think that's paying off along with getting the training done. Yesterday I did a really, on Tuesday I did an outdoor run. And I got to tell you, and I've talked about this before, so, apologies if you're listening to the show and the difference for me between outdoor running and the treadmill is apples and oranges, totally different. And when I'm outdoors, man, my calves hurt, my feet hurt after about 3 miles. And I think this is my sneakers. My feet go numb, literally like numb. Like it's almost like I'm trusting them as they hit the ground that they're not going to like collapse and roll over on my ankle or something. They're totally numb. And if I walk, the feeling comes back. But when I run, it gets worse. And I had that feeling back when I did Ironman Muncie last year. And I think I was wearing those same sneakers. So it's got to be those. I think that's pretty much what it is. It's also probably, I'm guessing, because my weight is on the higher end of where I've been. So even though it's coming down, it's still on the higher end of where it's been lately. So, combine the weight with the sneakers, and I think it's just been really hard to do these outdoor runs that I've planned. I had planned to do some 10-minute sort of tempo sessions. They're not really tempo because I can't really go hard for 10 minutes, but I try to do 3 10-minute tempo sessions. They wound up being 4 5-minute because my feet, my calves were killing me. Everything was going down, but I made that adjustment in the run. I got the run done. I felt really confident and comfortable about it and just happy. But then I take it into the treadmill. So yesterday I did a treadmill workout. My feet felt great. I'm running at, somewhere around a 9-minute mile, which is like stark contrast to what I've been doing outside. I guess the point is, you're talking about things that, when you're training, you might not know, but you should. So if you're doing a lot of indoor training and you're training for a race, and then, you don't do a lot of outdoor training, and then you just go to the race and expect to go outside and everything will be the same, it won't. You have to adjust to that. You have to get that practice in outdoors. So the treadmill is good for some things, but you do have to be aware that there is a difference between running indoors on the treadmill and running outdoors on concrete. It just is different. It's different. And I ran 7 miles a couple weeks ago on the treadmill. No pain in those same sneakers. No pain, no numbness, nothing. It was just great. So, in all, yes, I'm getting the workouts done. But just the one thing that I noticed that, just to take note of for you runners out there who are training. Another thing I noticed, and I mean, geez, I'm going to talk about her a little bit. I'm not going to give her name. She's one of my clients. We're talking about speed and trying to run faster. She wants to improve her speed. So I had her do a mile test, right? That's what we've been doing, right? We've talked about this before. Importance of testing. You want to test and then work out for a period of time and then test again and make sure that you're improving over that time. So she ran the mile test on day one. Actually, I think I told her about the mile test and I said I was gonna give it to her. And before she even started our program, she did the mile test on her own. So then her very first workout, I gave her intervals, 1 minute intervals. So 1 minute running, 1 minute walking. And those intervals were meant to be, obviously, if you're 1 minute, it's more speed. Now, granted, you can't sprint for a minute. You might be able to if you're really in shape. But it's hard to sprint for a minute, so it's not a sprint. It's just, get as much controlled running at a very solid pace as you can. And then you get a break for a minute and then you get to do that. And she did that, I think 10 times. And when we checked the watch afterwards, right? So she did her mile test the day before, 2 days before. And then she went and did these intervals. And when we checked the watch, she ran those intervals faster than she did for her mile test. And that's just nuts. I mean, that's just crazy. It's, and what I mean by that is you just picture it, right? And this is nothing in particular for the client. I'm saying when you're starting, when you're doing distances that you may or may not be comfortable with, when you can't hold speed for a period of time, it can actually be beneficial, more efficient, faster. That Galloway method, right? Run, walk, run, walk, run, walk. It can be faster to run than walk, than just slog along for a full mile. And I think that was incredible. I just think it was incredible. It was and I am, to be honest, I'm not even ready to draw that conclusion definitively just yet. Whether it be just for the client or for anyone necessarily. Not really ready to draw that conclusion just yet. But that one little test looked really promising. It really did. In that, speed. That you got to get those little intervals of speed and then you walk. And not only that, but she probably walks at a pretty good pace. So that averages out to fast. Or faster than she would if she ran the entire way. Because she would be, by the end of that mile, it would be kind of, you're just breaking down a little bit. I just thought that was phenomenal. I thought it was just a really good piece of sort of intelligence that was gleaned from those 2 runs. Her very first 2 runs ever done with me, and we just kind of recognized this amazing little thing, this amazing piece of information that's just sitting right there. That intervals can work. And you can be happy with them. I mean, wouldn't you be thrilled? You did your best mile. That you thought you could do. And then the next day, you were just doing a workout. And you ran faster within that workout than you did trying to run your fastest mile. Man, I think that's amazing. I think that's amazing. Did I mention that? It's amazing. It's amazing? I'll tell you what else is amazing. I'm on the path the other day, right? This is my local path. We're on it all the time. Sometimes we go as a family, and we all go down there. And probably about 2 weeks ago, I was down there with Stephanie and Samantha, pushing the stroller. The stroller we push, but Ellie doesn't like being in the stroller all the time, so she likes to walk, which is a little bit nerve-wracking because there's bicycles on that path, and 18-month-olds, they don't have any kind of concept of, oh, there's a bike coming, they will weave on that little thing. So I'm constantly, because as someone who rides the bike on the path, I'm aware, but I've seen people that are not aware. So I'm constantly kind of looking for bikes. So I went for my run the other day outdoors, and I come across these 2 ladies, and everyone's polite in my town. And so they're like, oh, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, oh, hi. She's like, oh, I saw you and your family. You have a beautiful family. I'm like, oh, great. But me and my friend were wondering, what is that tattoo on your leg? And I'm like, oh, it's like, it's funny because when it's on the back of your calf, like you kind of sometimes you forget that it's there, right? You don't even, I mean, I don't like look at it. I don't, it's back there. I don't see back there. You kind of forget that it's there. And I'm like, oh, oh, you mean the tattoo on my leg? They're like, yeah. She's like, is that Minecraft? Minecraft. Is my tattoo Minecraft? Yeah, I have a Minecraft tattoo. And then I'm starting to wonder, like, at what point is the M for Minecraft like more recognizable than and Minecraft logo, by the way, is just the blocks Minecraft spelled out. It's not like it's, But at what point is it when the Minecraft logo is the assumption over Ironman? Is my tattoo becoming obsolete? I'm still concerned about that tattoo, by the way. It's becoming obsolete. Ironman Muncie canceled yesterday in Indiana, 70.3. This one was tough because they were going to have this race. They seemed very intent on having this race all the way. I mean, there were people registering for this race like just a few days ago. They were still open for registration. And people were like, oh, a race. Because people want a race. People want to race. I get it. You guys out there, you don't want, you stay home if you don't want to race. It's it's like that old Howard Stern thing, right? If you don't like what's on the station, there's a knob, you can turn it. The same thing for racing. If you're concerned about your own health, don't go. But there are a lot of people that want to go, and there were a lot of people registering for this race because it was like, a race, and people wanted to do it. So they were registering for the race, and then the state of Indiana, which was on a schedule, like I think it was like a stage 5 schedule to open the state, they decided to delay the stage 5, which then meant that the race it couldn't take place, that did not open up the right whatever for the race to take place. The right regulations for the race to take place, and Ironman had to cancel, and a lot of people are upset about it. But I gotta say, I kind of give it to Ironman for trying. They're trying. They seem to be trying to hold races, and yeah, I know that there's a big money component of this, right? The more races they do not hold and postpone and delay, the more money they're losing. And I mean, you think about all the preparation that goes into this, and they're like literally like a week and a half away, and then I think it was a week and a half, and then they're forced to cancel. It's tough on a business. It's tough on people who are racing. It's tough. You go through all that stuff. You think about the hours put into that, and then they pull the rug. It's just like, this is kind of getting to be a broken record, guys. It's like, oh, here's a race, and oh, yeah, we're gonna have a race, and we're not gonna have a race. So it's a little, I don't know. I feel for the athletes. I do. It's just, and I kind of hope that everyone just has the right frame of mind of this. Just settle down and get through it. You knew when you registered there was a chance, right? You knew there was a chance they were going to cancel. Let's not get too upset over it. You're going to get your transfer option. And that's the only thing, is that they're probably not going to give you your money back. They'll give you lots of transfer options, and they'll give you, a deferral till next year or something like that. Frustrating, upsetting, but what can you do? What can you do? I mean, I feel like, I think we talked about this a few podcasts ago. I feel like I've the switch in my head, especially when it comes to having Philadelphia Marathon in November, and it's still open, but who knows? And I kind of think it's gone. I have just accepted that it's gone. I am training for it as if it's not gone. I'm training for it as if that's my race this year. But in my mind, that race isn't happening. So is what it is, guys, at this point. I've written off 2020. We're now at least in the second half. Hopefully, I'm very hopeful that we get into the second half of this year and things kind of dissipate and we get a little bit back to normal. I met a lady yesterday who, or I didn't really meet her. I met her husband. She makes cloth masks for people, and she needed some equipment and stuff like that, and he was getting it. And the cloth masks, man, someone told me yesterday, If underwear can't stop a fart, do you really think cloth masks is going to stop this? And at first I thought it was just funny. And then I'm like, wow, that kind of makes sense. I mean, otherwise you wouldn't be able to, Anyway, all right, got it. Got it. That's my joke of the day that probably won't go over well. June Walker will be back soon. She's feeling much better, which is great because I'm sitting here looking at our Couch to 5K program, which is posted over at teamordinary.com. I'm sitting here looking at that program, and she needs to get back on a horse here. Or should I say the goat? The goat. But we'll be having her back as soon. I think we're starting her up. She got through 2 weeks of this thing, and now she's looking ahead towards week 3, but she didn't do anything this week. She's actually just started doing some farm work. She was like loading bales of hay yesterday, which is awesome, which means the back feels better. And hopefully now, again, just a smart thing to do, right? I mean, I think the bays of hail, maybe throwing those things were not smart, but smart thing to do. Take the week off. She's feeling better. She's doing a lot. She did a little hike the other day, and I think we're just going to be able to kind of take the week off and pick up where we left off on the calendar. She got through 2 weeks, so we skipped a week, and now we're going to try week 3. Because I think if she's out hiking and baling hay, I don't know if there's going to be any regression there. I don't know that there's going to be any regression. We're going to pick up at week 3 next week and move on with that. And looking forward to having her back on the show sometime soon, if not this week, the following week for sure. We did a great bike ride last night, by the way. Our Zwift Thursday night rides were awesome. We had awesome trivia going on. I tried to upload it. I don't know if it's yet on the YouTube page. It's for some reason, some days it takes a long time for that live stream to then upload to the YouTube, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes, and hopefully it's there today. But you can check it out. The trivia was awesome. It was Ronald Booze's idea. So basically we took, it was movie trivia. We took an actor and actress, and I would name 3 of the characters that they played in order. We'd start with kind of like a more, unknown one, and then add in the ones that are more well-known. And then at the end of the 3, then they have to answer and try to guess what the actor or actress is. And it was fun. It was, I got to tell you, I didn't really publicize the ride this week too much. And I was kind of nervous that with the nice weather, people wouldn't show up. But we got a good crowd. We probably had about 8 or 9 people. And it was really cool. We had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. We're going to be doing it again next week. So if you're interested, if you're on Zwift, reach out, let me know. The last thing I want to talk about today is sometimes, as we got hit with, and we talked about this last night on the ride, actually. So Zwift rolled out this new update, and it sounds awesome. So the Tour de France, sorry, French people. The Tour de France. I mean, that's like the New York. I talked about this on the thing. It's like the New York and me. I went France. I gotta say France. The Tour de France. Sorry, I'm American. Is actually happening on Zwift this year. And they have supposedly they have like a lot of like the real teams, the competitive teams. I don't know how many of them are actually involved, what percentage of them or whatnot, but they actually are holding a virtual Tour de France on Zwift that starts tomorrow. They kind of teased it a little bit, I got to be honest, but the cool thing about it is that any schmo, now look, I can't race against the pros. Those races are for them. And, and they don't let other people get involved. But they do open the courses, and they have events where normal people, everyday people like me, can actually go and do the same courses, obviously virtual courses online, as the pros are doing during their Tour de France. Now, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I haven't trained for it. I haven't, some of these, the Tour de France things are like 80 something miles and up mountains. I don't know that I got that in me just yet, but I've looked at a couple of the first 2 stages, and yeah, I mean, I can do them, and they're offering them tomorrow. It starts tomorrow. So I'm thinking to myself, I have a very strict training plan in place over the next few weeks, but man, wouldn't it be cool to do this? Wouldn't it be cool? And I'm being tempted. I'm really being tempted to kind of just go off of my own routine and my plan and try to participate in this. And it's not about, obviously it's not, you'd love to do okay for yourself, but obviously I'm not a competitive cyclist, but sure, it would be cool to be like, hey, I did the virtual Tour de France with all these other clowns that did it. And, even if I came in last, at least it would be cool to finish all those courses. And even if I had to be disciplined in my approach and go on to Zwift and not think that I'm racing and think that, all right, I'm just doing a workout here on their course, within that course, and just get it through and just say that, hey, I did the same courses that they did for the Tour de France. That sounds pretty cool, even though, I know it's virtual. It's not the same, but I'm tempted, And so it's one of those things where tomorrow I'm going away. I'm going to see the family. It's like a 2 or 3 hour drive to go see my sister, and then 2 or 3 hour drive back. We're leaving after breakfast in the morning, and we'll be back, and depending on traffic, right? It's July 4th, so God knows we're going through New York. So God knows how much traffic we're going to hit. It could be a lot. It might be a little, could be a lot. But I don't know where I'd fit in stage one. Either I have to stay up late tonight, like literally do the thing at midnight. And then by the way, if I do the stage at midnight, then I got to go to, by the time I fall asleep, it's going to be 2 a.m. Got to wake up for breakfast. Then I got to drive and sit at a park. That doesn't, equate to fun. That equates to like a dangerous me on the road. So that really leaves my option as going to the party tomorrow, coming home, and then doing it at night. So we'll see if that works. And then again, once I'm tempted, then I'm kind of in it. And then it's like every day I'm going to want to do the event until I don't even know how long it is. I haven't really researched it. So it's one of these things where it's really dumb, yet it's really tempting. You know what I mean? And as a coach, and maybe I'll just listen to myself. As a coach, the smart thing to do is probably not to do it. I'm not ready. I haven't really been thinking about it. But it's kind of so cool. And I'm almost, this happens to athletes all the time. I mean, it happens all the time. You get tempted by something that you think is really, really cool, but you don't necessarily have enough time to plan or train or fit it within your schedule. And, you got to make that decision for yourself. I'm not saying what you should do, but I'm sure some of you guys have had that come up, right? Where it's like an event. It's like, the New York City Marathon's tomorrow. Here's an entry for you if you want it. What do you say? Right? What do you say? You say no. Well, yeah, you just did your long run today, and you want to do a marathon. Like what? But it's the New York City Marathon. Things like that. It's interesting sometimes when things like that pop up, and you want to make a decision, and you think it's just, oh man, that would just be epic. It's like an epic performance. It'd be something that I would really enjoy doing, but it's not quite smart. It's not in the plan. What do I do? Coach discipline. Coach discipline. It's terrible. Anyway, guys, good luck to you this week. I got more podcasts out than I thought. Have a safe weekend. Have a fun weekend. All right. I know how crazy things are. Train hard, work hard, and remember, every day is an ordinary day unless you make it extraordinary. So get after it, guys.